1993, little was known about the ecological needs of the bears. The park was divided into zones to allow for the shared use of resources between wildlife and people. Despite the demarcation of zones, the core areas are not always respected as being for the sole use of the wild animals. There are many pressures on the park. Gujars journey annually from the plains of the Punjab to the Diosai, bringing their large herds of livestock to feed on the rich summer pastures. Every year, the herders are taking their livestock deeper into the bear's habitat. Even more devastating for the park, the shepherds cut vast amounts of shrub for fuel.
The Senate will elect its chairman and deputy chairman through secret ballot after oath-taking of 48 newly elected members of the upper house of parliament tomorrow. Prime Minister Imran Khan nominates Senator Mirza Mohammad Afridi as candidate for deputy chairman Senate. President Dr. Arif Alvi says Pakistan is desirous of regional peace and stability and will continue its endeavours to maintain it. Shab-e-Miraj, the night of ascent, being observed across the country with great religious zeal. Prime Minister Imran Khan felicitates Muslims of the world on the auspicious occasion of Shab-e-Miraj. Pakistan condemns the continued extrajudicial killings by the occupation forces in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Says independent voices continue to raise concerns on the gross human rights violations in occupied territory. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Indian troops martyred 2 youth in Islamabad district as complete shutdown observed on the second consecutive day today. Coronavirus claims another 53 more lives across the country during the past 24 hours. The Pakistan Cricket Board aims to hold the remaining matches of the PSL 2021 in June. I'm Ahmed Nawaz and this is PTV World. But for further details and live streaming, you can log on to our website and our social media handles on your screens right now. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Politics Today with Farrukh Pitafi.
The Badshai Mosque, or the Royal Mosque in Lahore, commissioned by the 6th Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in 1671 and completed in 1673, is the second largest mosque in Pakistan and South Asia and the 5th largest mosque in the world. Epitomizing the beauty, passion and grandeur of the Mughal era. It is Lahore's most famous landmark and a major tourist attraction. Capable of accommodating 5,000 worshippers in its main prayer hall and a further 95,000 in its courtyard, it remains the largest mosque in the world. From 1673 to 1986, a period of 313 years, when overtaken in size by the completion of the Faisal Mosque in Islamabad. Today, it remains the second largest mosque in Pakistan and South Asia and the fifth largest mosque in the world after Masjid al-Haram, Grand Mosque of Mecca, and Al-Masjid al-Nabi, Prophet's Mosque in Medina. The Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca and the Faisal Mosque in Islamabad. To appreciate its large size, the four minarets of the Badshah Mosque are 13.9 feet, 4.2 meters taller than those of the Taj Mahal, and the main platform of the Taj Mahal can fit inside the 278,784 square feet courtyard of the Badshah Mosque, which is the largest mosque courtyard in the world. Architectural wonders.
Who am I? Am I the fire that burns at a Sufi's abode, where devotees come in reverence to seek warmth for frost-bitten souls and rekindle the flame within? They come in throngs from all directions and in all hues to stop a while, but never to stay. Who am I? Am I the willow tree that gives shade to the jaded, but does not bear fruit? So when the sun mellows into a more merciful countenance, it's time to bid adieu. Who am I?
Truck art from Pakistan is renowned to the world for its attraction and unique sense of artistic taste. Pakistani truck art is Pakistan's cultural identity. One look at a truck with artistic work over it, and the first thing which would come to your mind would be Pakistan.
I've been driving truck for the last 5 years. Not only it's my interest and passion, but also is a source of income for my family and I.
We open up the whole body of a truck and piece it down to various parts to get the painting process smoother. Base frame of the truck gets painted first. Then we move on to the rest of the body where we prepare the whole base structure. Once the foundation is all checked, it is sent to the painter, and then after it gets painted, it's further sent to the decoration department. It takes around 2 months to get the procedure completed.
Trucks in Pakistan are decorated with the slogans and pictures all over their bodies from local folklore that gives them a Pakistani look. These slogans are the fortune cookies of Pakistan.
Hello and welcome to Politics Today. I'm farrukh Pitafi. Viewers, once again we have to talk about the Senate elections because they are the most important issue right now. It seems that all of a sudden everything has taken a backseat and everybody, every pundit, every politician on television is talking about only the election of Chairman Senate and Deputy Chairman Senate. Now we know that both parties have nominated, both sides actually have nominated two individuals, one for Chairman and one for Deputy Chairman. What exactly is the number game? Number game seems to be quite neck and neck. Initially we were told that the government enjoys 41, the support of 47 members of Senate, and the opposition actually enjoys the support of 53. Out of that 53, you take away one seat of Ishaq Dar Sahab, and then naturally the number keeps coming down. But today, Shibli Farrukh Sahab, the Federal Minister for Information, said that the numbers that are being projected are incorrect because they are independent candidates, and those independent candidates have not declared their allegiance. And that's why he says that the entire number game is neck and neck. When we listen to PMLN's narrative, which is part of the opposition PDM, it seems that some kind of mega manipulation is taking place, and they have been actually coming up with this narrative. But one section of the pundits actually claims that all these narratives are primarily because of one thing, that in this entire scenario there is no good outcome for PMLN. On one side, instead of empowering their own members, they ended up empowering People's Party and JUIF. And on the other side, the internal competition in the party is also very hot right now because Hamza Shahbaz has come out of prison. So this is an interpretation that is being given by the detractors of PMLN. When you listen to the government side, we are being told that certain senators are being contacted by the opposition side as well, and there seems to be some kind of offers they are there as well. Amazingly, People's Party, when it is asked what exactly, and their candidate is the actual candidate from PDM, Yusuf Raza Gidlani says that all those factors are nowhere and there is no manipulation going on. So usually, discerning from this narrative, one would actually say that Yusuf Raza Gidlani is confident of his success. We are going to talk about this, and then of course there are systemic issues that one has to talk about: the role of Senate, the numbers of the members, and why exactly is it that the law deems it necessary that the polling takes place via secret ballot. We are going to talk about all these matters and more. In order to help us understand these issues, we are joined by Javed Sadiq Saab, who is a senior journalist, analyst, anchor, and columnist and whatnot. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. To represent government, Shandana Gulzar Khan Sahiba joins us in the studio. She is not only an MNA and senior worker of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, she is also chairperson Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being part of the program. I'm told that Rana Ehsan Afzal will be representing Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz via Skype. I now can see him. So thank you very much, sir, for joining us as well. Let me start with you, Shandana Sahiba. How confident, and you'll have to stop using the phone, but regarding confidence, how confident are you that your candidate is going to win? And why is it that the Chairman Senate candidate is not from your party?
Thank you, Pitafi Saab. Actually, I was checking my phone for the numbers. There are different numbers that people are projecting, but I just heard Information Minister Shibli Farrukh Sahib as well, and I suppose we could start with that. According to his numbering, it's going to be 49 versus 51, and we need to figure out, and the entire battle is going to be fought on the will and wish of the independents.
Right.
We are not counting on anyone other than ourselves, our allies, and the independents.
Right.
Perhaps had the Supreme Court given a decision in the favor of open balloting, and they chose not to do so, for they felt that Parliament is supreme and they should then decide whether open or secret, and had the track and trace system we had requested had been followed by the ECP, perhaps we wouldn't have had to guess. Tonight things would have been clearer, because members.
But with due respect, here's the argument that comes from your detractors. Your party is in power; it is very influential. After that, when a secret ballot actually is causing this kind of misgivings, perhaps you don't need support of ECP. You need ESP, extrasensory perceptions, to know what is in the hearts of people, because people can always defect. Is it not true?
But isn't that exactly the opposite of what the Constitution says?
No, Constitution doesn't say that in this election you cannot defect. There are three scenarios.
I'm talking about the spirit of this that has marred and overshadowed this entire election. The entire election has not been about who will be a senator. It has not been about who will be in power. It has not been about Pakistan. And it has not been about PTI. It's about who has the money. And this is the same sad story of the last 73 years of Pakistan. You know, our pre-electoral slogan, and it's still the same: one, not two Pakistans, but it's still two Pakistans as we speak. One for the rich, one for the poor.
No, I get that.
The second thing I was just going to answer you.
And I'm going to come back to you, and I will take the entire narrative, and I actually believe that you have a point there. But with due respect, we were not arguing about what exactly is going to happen. We were talking about how Supreme Court actually gave a judgment, right? And the role of Supreme Court is not to write laws, but to interpret them. And
Absolutely.
this is exactly what they did. If you want to change the law, you'll have to go to the Parliament.
That's fine. I don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is that where the PDM finds itself today is something it did with its own hands. That's all I'm saying.
And
had they wanted transparency and had they wanted to win tomorrow, they could have gone that way.
Right. And we are going to talk about the role of money later in the program as well. Javed Siddiq Saab, who is going to win tomorrow?
Well, the stakes are very high. And it is very...
Why are the stakes high?
Because of this murky politics that we are witnessing and unfolding before us. You know, the information minister said that we will use every tool and that is there at our command to win this election. That is the election of the chairman of the Senate. Because the PTI had a setback in the election of Hafiz Sheikh versus Yusuf Raza Gilani, and they feel that there the PTI members, you know, switched the sides and they voted for Yusuf Raza Gilani, and it is a big shock for PTI because they could never expect that this would happen. And now they're saying that money has changed hands and a lot of money has been spent, and Mr. Zardari is being accused of using billions of rupees, bags of money, to buy the loyalties and votes of the PTI members.
Right.
So, you know, this whole thing, this whole saga is so sad that the nation is watching in a grief and sorrow that what kind of politics is there in Pakistan.
So
anyway,
so we are going to judge politics later in the program. Right now, I want to know who's going to win.
I think Mr. Sanjani has the chances, you know, because there are so many invisible hands at play to get him elected as chairman Senate. Yusuf Raza Gilani too is very high profile candidate, and he has a lot of assets.
You're talking about invisible hands?
Yes, I am talking of invisible hands.
What are invisible hands? The same ones that PMLN keeps on talking about?
Yes, I think that these hands are active. Plus, I think the government is also using all its you know, sources to get him one. Because
but with due respect, why is it that Sanjani Saab's opponent, that is Yusuf Raza Gilani, refuses to see those hands? Well, he said that we are referring to establishments.
Yeah, but
he says so far establishment is neutral.
I think he is confident because he won the election of the Senate against a stalwart of PTI, the finance minister Hafiz Sheikh. So that has given him confidence that he can do it again. But I think his sole you know, reliance is on money.
Okay. Zana Ahsan Afzal Saab, I'm sure that you're listening to the conversation that is going on. Here's a question for you as a member of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. Your party had this narrative, vote ko izzat do, that vote should be respected. And then we saw that you supported a candidate who actually won against the odds and by actually defying the logic of parliamentary numbers. It seems that there seems to be some evidence on tape as well, which suggests that money was offered and it was used. So your narrative is compromised when it comes to the Senate election that saw Yusuf Raza Gilani Saab winning. After compromising on that principle, what did you get out of it? The chairman Senate is not coming to your party, or that post doesn't go to your party. Deputy chairman also goes to another party, JUIF. So what do you get out of this?
Okay. First I'll talk about money being used. If money was being used, I think they should be charged according to the law. If there is any evidence, it should be brought forward to ECP, and they should be punished for that. Because PMLN does not support that.
Do you watch television, sir?
Yes, I do watch television, and I hear
Have you seen the video where Ali Haidar Gilani is actually telling people how to destroy votes, and then in the audio tape he is also actually bribing people?
and there were also offers that 70 crore were being offered by a PTI candidate to different members, and then that candidate was not given a party ticket, and later on when he won, God knows how, he was offered and inducted into PTI. So yes, all of this should be investigated, and if someone is found guilty, he should be punished.
Where is the proof of that?
I also hear other things, Pitafi Saab. I hear that a lot of government MNAs who did not want to vote for confidence, who did not want to support the vote of confidence, they were held in containers and not, and they were their software was changed before them being allowed to go into the, and they were forced to go into the parliament. So a lot is happening, and I'm also saying that we have evidence and we have recordings that certain institutes, members of the certain institutes have been calling our senators and telling them how to utilize their votes. So a lot of drama is happening in Pakistan, and it is quite sad.
Okay, Farrukh Sahab, here's the thing. I understand that this is a narrative of your party, and I welcome that if you have any evidence, you should be tabling it. But so far, we have only heard 2 or 3 leaders of your party actually making those claims. I understand this container bit actually came from Maryam Nawaz Sahiba, but from her on record also came the claim of inducement through the offer of tickets, and which is thought to be an inducement and some kind of shoddy kind of activity. So that bit is on evidence, is part of evidence. When are you going to offer your evidence, and when are you going to apologize for this claim?
So today, at a press briefing, we brought that senator who received the call, and we briefed the whole country what had happened. So that was our evidence right over there. And about Maryam,
he's your party, sir. But he's your party, right? It is a claim coming from your party. You will have to establish that there was somebody on the other side of the call, and you'll have to give us some tapes.
Of course, we have those recordings, and yes, the party will decide whether they're going to release them and when they're going to release them. But what is more, that I would like to refute Shibli Farrukh Saab's claim that it is the independents who will decide. No, it's not so. The 47 or 48 votes of PTI and the coalition partners include the independents, whereas our number, the 52 minus Ishaq Dar, 53 minus Ishaq Dar, includes only our coalition partners and the opposition.
I'm really glad when one of my guests actually straight away walks into it. You just brought up Ishaq Dar Saab. Pray tell me, why is it that he is occupying a seat without being in the country for so long? 2.5 years have passed, sir.
Well, because of political victimization and his health. But I think the first point is more valid, because there is a lot of political victimization going on, there is a lot of maneuvering going on, and I think it is better for him to be there rather than be a victim of this political victimization.
If someone is such a big victim and he is suffering from health conditions that they cannot even come back to the country, should they be occupying a seat in the Senate, sir?
Well, I think that is up to our party, whether he should stay with that seat or whether he should resign from it, and I think it is up to the party to decide. And
but your party is a political party, it is a democratic party, it is answerable to the common man as well, common man like me, is it not?
Pitafi Saab, that seat speaks, that empty chair speaks about the political victimization going on in Pakistan.
No, but you realize that it actually underserves your party's interest by undercutting one number, and that is a big concern. Let me go back to Chandana Sahiba. There are certain claims which are made. You want to rebut them first. You held your own MNAs in containers until they actually decided they are going to vote for the Prime Minister.
That's a very colorful imagination. I'd love to see that video. I read a story, similar story in the news a couple of days ago, which said that Maryam Sahiba was saying that drones were being used in the National Assembly to
Like every member.
Exactly. Now I live in the lodges, so I'm afraid there was no drone in my house.
Okay.
There was no drone that I saw in the lodges.
Okay.
And I'm an as free, independent soul that as can be. So I'm afraid certain things, I'll be very happy if this video or evidence comes forward, because at least for once and all we can establish that who's the bad guy, who's the good guy.
Okay.
And if I could also just complete on the gentleman who says he was offered a bribe, who got a call in the middle of the night. I also happened to see that press conference. He never mentioned what he was offered. All he said was, I received a call. So he's a smart man, much older than we are. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of evidence, and if there's any time to release it, it is now. So tomorrow won't make any sense. If they've lost, then they're going to cry crow, so it really doesn't matter.
And there's another allegation also that a gentleman from Balochistan actually offered 70 crore rupees to actually become a senator. Then your party revoked the ticket given to him, and then he ran as an independent, and eventually he joined your party.
So he's talking about Abdul Qadir Sahib. Abdul Qadir Sahib was offered the PTI ticket. PTI Balochistan protested in a democratic fashion. We took it away from him, and he decided to run openly. Whether he paid 70 crore or 70 Arab is not our business anymore, and that is the business that we lament. That business should not happen in Pakistan. When he lost the PTI ticket, he should not have won. He won because of the secret ballot. That is what we come back to all the time.
That's a good point, by the way. But use of money, yes, telling us that your party did not receive 70 crore rupees from that gentleman.
I would love to receive something, but I'm afraid we received jack all.
Okay. And in this Yusuf Raza Gilani election, were you offered any money?
No, I was offered something else.
What?
A future.
Okay.
From the PDM.
PDM. Which party, by the way?
I'd rather not say. It will become a bit obvious.
Okay.
I have relatives in many political parties in PDM. More than one party. But let's just say, only Allah knows. And this I find a bit arrogant on part of those colleagues of mine from PTI that sold out, that whether they sold out for money, whether they sold out on seats, they should have had the guts to go up to Prime Minister and say, we're upset with you, we will not vote for you. And that day would have been a moral defeat for PTI. They did it like rats, I'm sorry. And the point here is the following. Any political party, it makes a decision. You want to walk away, you want to walk against them, that is allowed. What is not allowed is selling your soul. And that is what Mariam Bibi referred to in one of her interviews, that hamari seete chali hain. Our seats have been walking. So I mean, how do you live in a country like that?
That's a question for the politicians to answer. But here's the problem. The 16 people, according to your party, who sold out.
According to the Dari Sahib, it's 30.
Who sold out. Then they gave vote of confidence to the Prime Minister. And he accepted that.
I think that is obvious in and of itself. He called us for dinner the day before, invited us for dinner. And he said that those of you who don't believe in me, please don't vote for me tomorrow. I'm happy to sit in the opposition. I've known all kinds of defeat, and I've known all kinds of success. Financially, God has blessed me with everything. I'm 70 years old. What am I going to do after this? But he said, don't lie to yourselves. And that is the linchpin here, Pitafi Sahib, on a personal level, not on a political level. Who knows who will be alive in 2023 election? Nobody has a guarantee. I wish they'd offered them a lease on life as well, with the seat or the money or whatever it is they took. So at least they knew that they're going to make something out of it.
Money won't buy you life, but it is the next best thing.
Is it?
David Siddiqui Sahib, your comment on PM receiving votes from those 16 members. Should he have accepted that? Are they identified? Can they be identified?
When viewed purely from moral angle or ethical angle, I think the Prime Minister should have taken action against these members who betrayed the party and who didn't vote for the candidate nominated by the PTI, and again they voted for the Prime Minister. Strangely, the PTI lady candidate,
she got 174.
And then, this discussion ensued that the votes which went against Hafiz Sheikh was because of his conduct, behavior, some people say that he was not accessible to common MNAs, generally. And they were not happy with Hafiz Sheikh and didn't vote for him. And there were so many factors at play. But obviously, the money factor is very important. It is playing a fundamental role in buying and changing the loyalties of the MNAs. And the people of Pakistan are watching in complete dismay that what the hell is going on in our politics.
I'm really grateful when one of the guests actually gave me another question, a bonus question, and it is about Hafiz Sheikh Sahib. Today, there was an observation by Lahore High Court that was about Hafiz Sheikh Sahib. Now the question right now is, if PTI can either say that money actually worked, or it can say that the vote that Hafiz Sheikh Sahib actually got was a no confidence in him and by no means against the party, right? It is a narrative. The question is, should he continue after all this?
No, but the Prime Minister has said that he should continue, and he has reposed in confidence in him, so he will continue till June, from that point of view. But obviously, money is playing a very fundamental role in our politics, and this has been going on for quite some time. And no serious effort has been made by all political players to put an end to this trend, to put an end to this game, unfortunately. And in the past we have seen how money was changing hands when the Senate elections came. And I also remember the very famous statement by Peer of Pagara, Syria, back in 90s, when he said that give me 1 billion rupee and I will nominate anybody as Prime Minister of Pakistan tomorrow, he will be the Prime Minister.
1 million or 1
billion?
Million? Billion, okay.
100 crores. Because in those days, each member could be bought for 1 crore. So, this is very strange and this is very unfortunate, and we have not been able to reform our political system. We have not been able to actually eliminate the role of money and dirty money.
Here's the concern that I have. You must have gone through the Section 23 of the Charter of Democracy, which actually promises open ballot for the Senate elections. You must have seen the government's prayer to the Supreme Court as well. But does it actually fix the problem? Problem is money. It is not secrecy of ballot.
It is, and then, but I think the political parties now, after all this, drama that has been going on, and accusations and counter-accusations, the political parties' leadership should sit together and try to reform the system if they want to get rid of money playing its role in politics.
I'm glad that you actually said. Can you tell me which leaders are you talking about?
I'm talking of all the political leaders across the board. PMLN, PPP, PTI.
Who is the leader of PMLN?
Whosoever is leading the party right now, because Nawaz Sharif, Shahbaz to anybody. He is the opposition leader. He is the opposition leader in the assembly, so he should sit with all his other colleagues, and they should try to find out a way to eliminate the role of money from politics of Pakistan.
There is a reason I am asking you about these names, because it is an admirable suggestion. But when you look at the individuals that you are naming, Asif Ali Zardari, Shahbaz Sharif, and Prime Minister Khan, do you see any possibility they will sit together?
They may not, but obviously, ideally speaking, and speaking from the people's point of view, they must sit together if they have the intentions of cleaning the politics of this dirt and filth. I think they should sit together, try to reform the electoral system. There are serious questions being raised about the Election Commission of Pakistan and its role and its inability to conduct a fair and free elections.
And I'm going to talk about Election Commission also, but first let me go back to Rana Ehsan Afzal Saab. Rana Saab, I did one thing unfairly, and let me actually compensate for that. I asked the other two guests who is going to win tomorrow. I didn't ask you. Who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
Well, I think minus Isagdar's vote, the opposition has 52 votes, and to win you need 51 votes. So obviously, if everything goes fairly and people vote by the voice of their conscience, the opposition should win because they are in majority. And for Sajid Sajrani Saab to win, the opposition has to vote for him to win. So whether that will happen or not, we'll see tomorrow. But I am quite hopeful that our candidate.
Rana Sahab, you said that if everything goes fairly, can you define fairly in this condition?
Well, obviously, our party made a press conference today, and they were talking about telephone calls. That should not happen. Number one. Number two, as I said before, hopefully no money is being used, no NAB is being used, no one is being, fair is not being used of accountability or some threats. So if all of that is not used and people are allowed to vote freely for the candidates they support, I think the opposition should win.
Okay. And if none of this tactic is used, but people defect from your side, are you going to, are you ready to live with that?
If no money is used, if no telephone call is used, if no NAB is used or any threat is used, yes, I guess if we are okay with the win of Hafiz, the Gilani Saab, then we will have to accept that. But there are so many ifs, and already we are saying
and I could see what you were doing right there. First, you said that if the telephone call is not used, that means, and obviously for that to be proven, you'll have to come up with some kind of tape, right? Perhaps it is prudent, perhaps it is not possible. Then you said money is not used. It actually speaks to the fact that there are videotapes where opposition side is actually offering money to the government side, but regardless of that, even that might not be proved. Then you actually went for the NAB not being used. And that is your permanent narrative. Is it not very smart that you are saying that if NAB is not used, because your permanent narrative is that NAB is being used?
Of course it is being used, and it's not our narrative. It is the narrative of many justices who have heard the cases and who are hearing and giving bails on different cases. So, the judgments speak, Human Rights Commission speaks.
You are talking about Khaja Saab Rafiq case, right? And in that case there was an opinion that was given.
Yes, and many others, of course.
But regardless, we are talking about today's condition, whether NAB is being used or not. Can you prove that in these 24 hours or last 48 hours, there was a circumstance where NAB actually reached out to people and told them, if you don't vote for Sadiq Sanjurani, we are going to come after you?
Hafiz Abdul Karim, the senator, he was talking, he himself told that I have been given notices by NAB, and just before the elections there is a lot of
Ardana Saab, you realize that in front of an honorable court of law, till the time you don't produce some physical evidence, it is called hearsay. He said, she said. And at this moment, this is your side accusing somebody else without any evidence.
Well, I agree to your point, and I would suggest to my party to release those audio tapes so everything comes clear. And it should be done.
That's admirable suggestion. But you are confident that Yusuf Raza Gitnani Saab actually wins tomorrow. Is it what you are saying?
I'm hoping that, because we have a majority, it should be like that.
And in the end, what does your party get out of this again?
Well, I think it will be a success of PDM, just as it was a success by defeating Hafiz Sheikh, that in actuality and considering morality, there has been a vote of no confidence against Prime Minister Imran Khan, and I was hearing my sister saying that, they said that from the Parliamentary Committee, it was also said that we forgive we forgive those 16 members who were bought, if they were bought or not, that we would like them to support for the vote of confidence. So, you know, on moral high ground and, you know, keeping that in view, I think PTI has already been defeated.
But perhaps you didn't actually get her point, and she made a very interesting point, that because there was a secret ballot, something against which you have taken a moral and principled stand in the Charter of Democracy, because that was not there, and because there was no track and trace system, in the end, the government has no way to tell which candidate voted against them.
Well, it's quite easy. The ones who you stopped from going to the assembly and were held in the container, some of them were there. And
which container? Can you identify where do I find containers at Golnoda, for that matter?
The party has, but there's one more thing, Pitafi Saab, I would like to add before I answer that, is that when the government presented the bill, the amendment to the Election Act for open balloting, they did not present it for this election of Chairman Senate.
No, so, you know, that is quite interesting. Let me ask Shandana Sahiba, this is one aspect, that you actually only went for member Senate's election being actually being held through open ballot. Two, you took a lot of time to come up with all these solutions. You could have actually not wasted time, and you could have started on it 2 years ago.
Thank you, Pitafi Saab. I'll briefly respond to that question and then respond to some of the statements my colleague here made. PTI has been working on electoral reform as part of its agenda as of May 2018, way before we won the election. One of the first things we did once we came into power, we sat on with the parties, and if you'll recall, we were not allowed to have any committee 6 months into the government because there was deadlock within the centre and in Sindh on who would be the chairman PSC. I don't know if you remember that. In the centre we relented, and somebody who's undergoing an art case, which is the leader of the opposition, Mia Shahbaz Sharif, was made chair of PSC as per tradition, not per as any rule. Yet in Sindh, it's still People's Party, part of the PDM, that got PSC chairmanship. After that, anything we tried to reform, whether it was NAB law, whether it was electoral law, you even remember when there was a bill passed in the National Assembly for increasing the number of judges in Islamabad High Court because they couldn't deal with the number of cases before them. That went to the Senate and that was rejected. Why? It was a show of force. So I'm afraid my sad recollection as a first-time parliamentarian is that everything is mala fide from the word go. If PTI wins the election, the same 2018 election, it's fake, it's selected. If they win the PDM, then it's above board and clean. It doesn't make sense. Nobody should have taken an oath on 13th August 2018. They should have boycotted us, forced our hand, had a re-election. Even now they refuse to resign. They changed their statement, mother of all U-turns, and they decided to go for a Senate election. Why? What is it that they knew? What is it they have in hand that we don't? Money. Bling bling, the dollars. So that's one thing. The other thing that my colleague just mentioned about the containers, I said, if there's a video, I was very happy to see those people who betrayed my party, my hard work, my blood and sweat. They haven't just betrayed Khan Saab, they haven't just betrayed PTI, they've betrayed me. So I'd love to see who they are, where was the container, what were they eating at that time. Now interestingly, it was only 16 votes that were cast against Hafiz Sheikh. Those same 16 votes were cast for Ma'am Fawzia, which is a clear indication it was not a sudden attack of conscience against PTI or Imran Khan. They were paid to vote for Gilani Sahib. So there you goes your politics. Or the morality there, or for the high ground. Now, as for voting for the Prime Minister, what was stopping them from coming to the magic number of 171? They could have voted against Khan, we would have had a snap election. End of story. Or we would have been in the opposition. Where did the conscience conveniently disappear on those two occasions? Thirdly, the young gentleman is talking about no telephone calls and no forces being used and no people. I've been contacted by dozens of people during Gilani Sahib's election. Gilani Sahib is a relative. He directly called me through our mutual relatives. He never offered money, but he said, I'm your colleague, I'm your relative, and I would ask for your vote. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing dishonorable with that.
Okay.
He did what a politician should be doing, asking for a vote. When Speaker and Deputy Speaker Qasim Suri were having their vote in 2018, I myself went to Khurshid Shah Saab's house and we asked for his vote.
Okay.
Now, there's one thing which is called politicking, and that is a job, it's courtesy. It's another thing offering money. So when you sell your conscience and you don't have much moral high ground to stand on, and I'm afraid I don't buy this narrative that if you win, it's wrong, yes, PTI, but if PDM wins, whatever they win, it must be moral because they're in the opposition. It doesn't work.
No.
And let me just put a last nail in the coffin. Look at the record of the ECP. I had it taken out a couple of days ago in the last 10-year by-election.
Okay.
9 out of 10 seats were won by the ruling government, whether it was Noon League or People's Party. 1 out of 10 seats would go to the opposition. In our government, every by-election they win. What does that prove? And I know what they say, oh no, you're incompetent. Really?
Okay.
They cannot accept that we're not weak, we're fair. Every time we're fair, they look at it as a weakness, but that's their problem.
Yeah, but if you are citing it right now, a citing example of ECP, the question is, why did the Prime Minister criticize ECP?
I would criticize the ECP too, for contempt of court.
Okay. How?
If the Supreme Court is telling you, you need to ensure your pre-mandated constitutional obligation. That constitutional obligation was not introduced by the PTI.
Yeah.
It was there.
But are you referring to the Supreme Court's opinion, right? That was sought by the President. The first part, the Article 226 part, was the answer. The rest was, by the way, a recommendation.
No. It was it wasn't arbiter dicta. It was the legal opinion on the interpretation of an Article 226 by the Supreme Court that it is hereby clarified that it is your job, the ECP, to ensure there is no rigging, horse trading, theft.
Okay.
What did ECP do?
Yeah.
They had to just handwrite between 1100 to 1500 ballots. When I was being given the 2 pieces of paper in the National Assembly on the day of the voting, they actually wrote down numbers, the 2 ECP officers sitting there. They checked my ID card, they checked my National Assembly ID card. Everything was done by hand. Why couldn't they write my name at the back of that slip? What was so difficult about that?
Right. But you realize that Honorable Supreme Court said that in the end, it is Election Commission's call.
And they chose not to take that call.
Yeah, but if you actually exert a lot of pressure on any institution, it becomes ungovernable.
Sir, if a hospital is running a bomb shelter, then you're not doing your job.
Right. I'm told we have to start concluding the program. Your conclusion, sir. You can add to whatever was said earlier.
Yeah, but I think 2 things. A, that the political parties, if they are serious to give this country a clean politics and they want this money factor to go away, they must sit together and reform the political system as this Misaq-e-Jamhuriyat Charter of Democracy, they had agreed.
There has to be a Charter of Democracy 2.0.
Yes,
okay.
and the second thing is that the Election Commission of Pakistan be made a trustworthy institution, an institution which is capable of holding fair and free elections, whose results are acceptable to all political parties. And this can be done only, again, with the consensus, with the efforts of all the political stakeholders, all political party leadership. They should sit together.
And that seldom happens.
If that doesn't happen, the country is not going to see a fair politics in Pakistan.
Right. Rana Ahsan Afzal Sahab, your conclusion, sir.
I think establishment should not intervene in politics and their actions should speak, not their mouths. And that will prove whether they're doing it or not. One more thing, this polarized politics in Pakistan is really sad. And I think that Imran Khan is the culprit for that. And also, where we're saying that there is so much money being spent, what are our agencies doing? Why hasn't anyone proved that money is being taken in?
No, but it is not the job of those agencies to do that. With due respect, it is not primarily their job, it is the Election Commission. But I will take this as your conclusion.
Not Election Commission, the agencies. the system should somehow, some evidence should come, and someone should be punished for it rather than be hearing it on TV all the time without anything being done or anyone being prosecuted for it.
Right.
And nothing.
You have made that point. Shandana Gulzar Khan Sahaba, your conclusion, very quickly, please.
If somebody wishes to save Pakistan, anybody is genuine about Pakistan, they will be for open balloting of all parliamentarians. End of story.
All parliamentarians, I mean Senate elections, right?
I would be happy for National Assembly open election. Once we get our EVMs, electronic voting machines, inshallah, you'll see even a better Pakistan.
Yeah, but that won't be open because that creates a lot of problems.
It's transparent, it's not open. Like the United States, Mr. Trump could not get any one of his 70 claims in because it was transparent.
Right. I'm told that we have to conclude the program here. Shandana Gulzar Khan Sahaba, thank you very much for your time. Javed Siddiq Sahab, always great having you in the show as well. Dana Ahsan Afzal Sahab, thank you very much, sir, for your precious time as well. Viewers, you have listened to the participants. What happens in tomorrow's election will be quite visible, but it is clear that secret ballot is going to play its role, and it seems that there is going to be some shifting of sand one way or the other. So the hearsay that comes to us actually suggests that Yusuf Raza Gilani might actually be victorious, but it can be proven wrong if the government candidate actually pulls a surprise or actually wins. Regarding all the accusations, one thing is very clear. When there is any piece of evidence, it should be acted upon. And when somebody is accusing others of doing similar kind of things, they should come up with some evidence. Without that, you cannot actually prove a point. An institution building then gets compromised. This was today's program. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.
The Ubia National Park is located in the lush hills of the Galiat forests that stretch from near Islamabad to Abbottabad and through to Azad Kashmir. Many species of mammals can be found here, including the common leopard, the red fox, and flying squirrels. But the animal which is the most common and most popular amongst visitors is undoubtedly the rhesus monkey. Rhesus monkeys are Asian, Old World monkeys. Their natural range includes Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Southeast Asia, and China. They are the most numerous primates in the world after humans, and in Ayubia they are found in large numbers. The rhesus monkey of the Galiat forest is brown or grey in colour and has a furless, pink face. They live in active, noisy troops that can consist of 20 to 200 animals. Though these monkeys are good climbers, they spend a lot of time on the ground foraging for food. Females usually produce one baby each year and will raise it within the very social environment of the troop. These intelligent animals can adapt to many habitats, be it high mountainous regions, grasslands, woodlands, or urban areas. They are able to survive in a variety of extreme environments, from hot, dry deserts to cold winter temperatures that fall to well below freezing. Rhesus monkeys are omnivorous. In forests, their typical diet includes roots, fruit, seeds and bark, but they also eat insects and small animals. Rhesus monkeys are exceptionally adapted to coexisting with humans and thrive near human settlements. In Ayubia, human encroachments deep into the forests have brought the monkeys into close contact with humans. Today, they are found in higher densities in areas of human settlement than in the forests. These monkeys can get a major part of their diet from human sources. The monkeys in Ayubia have become accustomed to living with human communities and have become fearless and sometimes even aggressive in their pursuit of food.